Next Level Podcast, conversations from the other side, where we share stories of real life ordinary women who have successfully managed challenging situations to encourage, inspire, and uplift you on your journey to find balance in chaos. I am Shante Kenny, your host, and I am so excited that you guys are joining us on today. Today, we are going to be talking about second chances and finding opportunity in second chances. And I am so excited about my guest today, Tameka Wheeler Gates. And I only say that because I always leave off to let her married name. Tameka, I am so happy that you are joining us on today. How are you doing, my love?
I am doing great. Thank you for having me.
And so Tameka has an amazing story of her journey of taking an opportunity, finding an opportunity and seeing it in what I call being a good steward of a second chance or of an opportunity or a chance. And I want you to give them just a little bit of background about your story as we lead up to how it is that you started your business, that you've been successfully running for the last 10 years, in the direction that you're going, but you did not start here. So why don't you give us just a little bit about tell us a little bit about your story of how you got to the point of opening up your store.
Okay. Yes, I was working at a truck stop. I was working at a truck stop, and I did all different roles at the truck stop: night manager, shift lead, morning manager, and also I did inventory manager. So when I got into the role of inventory specialist, doing all the inventory of the store, I started having thoughts in my mind like, you probably need to get you a store. You need to get you a store. So I worked at the truck stop for 10 years, and I worked there for 10 years, and my top pay was $14.
I remember you telling me about how you got to that point right there, and some of your history from. Can we go into a little bit of that?
We can go. You can touch anywhere you like.
Okay, so a little bit of your history from the past, from when you were younger, that got you to that point, and what your life looked like before you even got to that job. Because I remember you telling me about how they overworked you in that job, but you took advantage of it. But let's step back to what even got you to that truck stop. What life looked like for you before that, and what it is that you were doing, or how you were living and the things that you were doing before you got there.
Okay, I was before I started working at the truck stop, my life was chaotic. It was all over the place. So I had a son at 16. I was a teenage mother. I had a son at 16. Had another son at 18, about to be 19. So I lived by myself since I was 17. So living by myself, I'm paying bills, taking care of my children. I started doing stuff like in the streets, and I started hustling, let's just say, hustling in the streets, boosting clothes, stealing from department stores and going selling them on the street. Well, I started catching cases, going to jail, getting put on probation and all of that. Once you catch it, this is what I will say. Once you catch a theft case, it can be a misdemeanor. It's hard to get jobs with that because that's a sign of dishonesty.
And it just follows you everywhere you go.
It follows you everywhere, even though it's a misdemeanor. It follows you everywhere. So I couldn't find a job because I had a background. I had misdemeanor theft, and then caught a case. It was a theft case, but it got upgraded to a robbery because I was with someone and they fought the police officer. I didn't fight the police officer, but they did. It made us both catch robbery cases.
Really?
So you think about it, you get a robbery for a petty theft, that's a felony now. And robbery, you can't get it off your background in no type of way. Like, you can go get other stuff. You can get it, what is the word? You can get it taken off your background. Expunged, but you can't get robbery off. It's going to stay with you. So it was hard for me to find a job, like really hard. I'm talking about warehouse. The industry has let up a little bit now about criminal backgrounds. But back then, you have to think that was like 24 years ago. So it was hard for me to get a job, temp jobs, anything. So when my brother went to jail, he got out, he had a paper with jobs on there. I ended up calling the truck stop. That when I called, it must have been someone knew me in there. It was a girl working there. And they was like, we doing interviews today. Come up here, because they do mass interviews. And I went, and I had a resume and everything for a truck stop. I had a whole resume. I was looking for a job. Hey, I needed a job because I couldn't do what I had been doing. I had went to jail for 30 days. That was the worst 30 days because I had children, you know. My kids out here. I went to jail on Thanksgiving. My kids here, my children's fathers, they were none active in their life. So I'm in jail the holiday season. The judge won't let me out. He's supposed to let me out, but the judge would not let me out.
Really?
He let me out 2 days before Christmas. When that happened to me, I get out, my kids, I'm looking, no one has done anything for my babies. And I'm like, it's Christmas. Listen, y'all have to worry about me ever going to jail again. I'm not gonna leave y'all. No more. Whatever, we're gonna suffer. We're gonna suffer until I can get, we're gonna suffer. But when I get on my feet, we're gonna live. Y'all don't have to worry. I promised my kids, they don't have to worry about me going to jail anymore. And I didn't. And I was 23.
And you only had 2 kids at the time?
I only had 2 kids. And then I got pregnant and I had my last son. My last son, he knows nothing of my life like that. My other 2 children, because one of them is 27 and the other one is 24, my last son is only 19. So he don't know his mother in that life. My oldest 2 do. You know, it's on Instagram and all that, it's a song or a reel where it say, I owe my oldest child everything. When I hear it all the time, I think about my oldest son. I owe him a lot. He has seen so much, been through so much. And then when I started working, he had to grow up and be there for his siblings. We had to find a balance, you know.
And we are going to get into that because I really like that. So you're 23 years old and you've been in jail for 30 days. How long did it take from the time you got out, if you recall, from the time you got out to when you actually found this or was given this opportunity at the trucking stop?
It was probably about 18 months.
Really?
It was probably about 18 months because I had my son, my last son, he had medical problems like asthma, really bad though, like really bad. And we were always in the doctor. I had got another job, like a call center job, but I had got that, but I was always at the hospital with my baby. He had to have surgeries and stuff at a young age, so it wouldn't work. When I got the truck stop job, the first week I let them know my son had to go have surgery, another surgery for his ears, and I said, it's gonna be this week. So the manager at the time, he was like, that's fine, thank you for letting me know, and then, you know, we'll work you back on the schedule. When we went, my son had the surgery. My son almost died in surgery. So I had just got the job. I was worried about my baby, really worried, but I made sure I called that job because I knew that God was gonna let my baby come through this. I didn't know how much we was gonna have to be in there, and I called that job and told them, I don't know when I'll be able to come. My son, he's missed. And that manager told me, just call me whenever it's done and you can come.
Really?
And that's what I did. And I worked. So in hindsight, I felt like that job gave me an opportunity.
Yes.
So I felt like I needed to be loyal to this. This has given me an opportunity to provide for my children. Don't have to worry about how we gonna get this. If I'm gonna have to, you know, didn't have to worry about anything. So I was so loyal to the job, and it took advantage of me. But and that's how I end up saying I need to find me something. But you know, finding something is not easy. I had got hired at DART while I was working there. And I gave them my 2 weeks notice to leave the truck stop, and I got another position at DART. And when they took me for the second interview, they ran my background again. And then they took the position away. So I had to go call my other job and tell them they trying to make me work nights. Y'all know I can't. I need to get, and they loved me at the job. They worked me so bad. They needed me there anyway. They was like, don't worry about it. We're going to give you morning. Come on back. I didn't let them know, that what had happened.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So when everything started happening, and now when I look back on it, I know that I wasn't supposed to be at Dart anyway, because God had what He had for me. He had my own business for me, and that's how we got there.
So let me ask you this before we move over into the journey of your business and you as an entrepreneur, mother, and all of that. Because I'm a little nosy. How hard was it for you, or was it hard while you've been in this boosting lifestyle and you're used to a certain, you were able to provide and you were used to a certain lifestyle while you were living this way, and now you've changed and you've decided that I'm not going to do that anymore. How hard was it for you to separate yourself from that and keep from going back to that lifestyle, even because things weren't just magically happening for you? How hard was that process for you?
Well, I'm gonna step back just a little bit.
Okay.
It wasn't so hard because the people who I did it with all the time, at the time when I did 30 days, right after that, both of them, they went to prison. So you think about it, it's people tell their kids, don't be a follower, be a leader. Sometimes your kid is not being a follower. They are just being what is around them.
Yeah.
It's not being following. So like I say, I wasn't doing what I was doing because they were doing it. We were doing it together. But when they go to prison, then I'm out here by myself. I ain't gonna go do it by myself. And I really don't want to do it with the other girls because I feel more comfortable with them. So they're gone. It's just me. And I was like, I'm just not gonna do it. I'm gonna change my life, because also I had one of their kids while they were gone, and the kid cried all the time about his mama.
Really?
All the time.
So the people that you was running with, as they say, they went to prison, and you ended up, and while you already have your own 2 kids and trying to find a job,
Yeah.
you had one of their children.
Yeah.
The parts of the life they just don't tell you about.
Yeah. And it's really deep, because you have a kid that's 7, his mama is gone, he waking up in the middle of the night crying, and you have to console him. But all the time in the back of my mind, I'm thinking about, these could be my kids.
Yeah.
This could be my kids in the same situation. So Shantae, it really wasn't hard. It was just a decision. Like, you gonna make this decision, or you gonna be where they are too.
Yeah.
It was just a decision. And I'm a humble person. Even though we were out doing that, I did it more for money. I really didn't wear all the expensive stuff like that. I sold mine. It didn't matter to me. I did. But my kids, they had it all. But so I'm humble. It wasn't about the clothes. It was about the money for me. And then I had to make a decision, though. The money is not important, because when you gone, you can't make no money.
That's true.
And your kids going to be here with whoever.
That is true. Was there ever a point where you thought about going back to boosting?
No, Shantae, because I'm scared. I don't want to go to jail. Not seriously, though.
But when you were doing what you were doing, did it never occur to you that you say you don't want to go to jail, you were scared, but when you were doing what you do, I guess you never think that you're going to get caught.
You don't think you're going to get caught, but it's so many ways for you to get caught. You don't think that you're going to get caught, but it's so many ways to get caught.
Well, yeah.
But when it get real, see, you can catch the cases and bond out. They give you a little 6-month probation. You ain't worried about that. But when it get real, when you know that you done bonded out and the judge still won't let you out, they tell you they holding you for this, that's when it's too real for me. They holding me, I done paid my money, I'm still in here. Nah, that's real.
Well, yeah, I totally can see that. So you have gotten out, and you have decided that I'm changing my life. I'm going straight, and you have this record, and you find this job at the trucking company. And when you say that they used you, and I don't want to disparage anybody, but kind of tell us some of the things that you were doing there, and I'm not going to do a compound question. Kind of tell us some of the things that you were doing there.
Well, I was training people. Like, once I got in there and started working, like, I got a raise within 1 month because
You just went in. I mean, hustling and doing your thing is just part of who you are.
yeah, once I got in there, I'm gonna try to do the job. I'm gonna try to be better than everybody at the job. And I liked it I worked behind the register at first, so I like to put a smile on people's face. So we used to get shopped. So I got shopped within the first month, and I made 100, and that's how I got a raise.
So even though you had this felony robbery on you, they still let you work the cash register and everything, and they never treated you any different.
No, it was a great manager there, and he was like, he know that people go through stuff. He was a real good person. And yeah, I was on the register, and they never treated me like anything, never acted like they thought I was steal or anything. And yeah, I even started doing accounting upstairs, so it was nothing. I think once they know and you work so long, you never be short, they start gaining trust in you anyway.
So, but that's really cool. And we're talking about living life and thinking bigger than the place that we are in, finding and being a good steward of an opportunity and a second chance. Because you, as you said, and God is so amazing and he works in such amazing ways.
Right.
He opened up the door for you to have this second chance. How did you continue to keep yourself encouraged while you were looking for
a way out of there?
While the time period between going to jail and finding this job, how did you continue to keep yourself encouraged in that time period?
You just know that something better is gonna come. Something is gonna have to happen better because I'm trying. I keep on moving, I'm trying. I'm doing the work like I was really trying. I worked some temp places just in between, but when they come back to your background check to hire you permanent, they'll let you go. So I worked some temp places in between, but I just knew that something was gonna come. I didn't know what and I didn't know when, but I knew that it was gonna come because I knew what I wasn't gonna do. I knew that I wasn't gonna do anything illegal anymore. I knew that. So it was just about keep on trying until God opens some door.
And believing it.
Yeah.
So you've been there for 10 years and you decided that now it's time to transition. And I really like the way you are, the way you seem to not be afraid to consistently transition in life. And just lean into it's time for a change. And once you make that decision, make that movement into it. Have you always been like that?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
So now you've made this, you've decided it's 10 years in, you've been doing all of this, basically running this trucking company. Am I right?
Yeah.
And you've decided it's time for you to open your own. And I thought you opened a store first, but you started a trucking business first.
No.
Okay,
the store.
You opened a store.
Yeah, the store was first. But it didn't happen. It was like I had been looking for a location. It was before the 10 years. It was probably like around year 8. And
what made you decide to start stepping out on your own?
Because
and becoming your own boss?
They wouldn't give me no more raises, and they kept saying I was topped out. And I'm doing all this work. I know that it's something I need to be. I kept looking for other jobs, but then a bell went off in my head. You don't have to work for anybody. You can look for you something. I'm doing all this. So I started talking to the vendors. Like, how you get a contract with Coke? How you get a contract with Pepsi? What if I would open a store? And one of the vendors, they'll give you coolers and stuff. So I started talking and learning about all that first. I was looking for a location, could not find now. So I'm working the store. Saving my money though, I'm saving for it because I don't know when it's gonna open up, but I know it's gonna open. My mind is already made, that's what I'm gonna do. Just could not find a location because I didn't wanna take my money and put it in a bad location and then it don't work. So year 10 is when it happened. It happened year 10 and the location was there. And at first, I was going to keep working. But I said, I need to go on over here to my business and go on and do it. They wanted me to stay. They kept asking me. Then it was mighty funny. I couldn't get a raise. I was topped out. But when I put in my 2 weeks notice, now I can become salary. It's all about what we allow people to do to us.
Yeah.
It's about what we allow. And so I was like, I could stay with my benefits and stuff, you know. Then I said, no, they didn't even value me. Y'all want me to stay. That's weird. Y'all gonna move y'all other manager to a whole nother location and give me her position. But I've been here. Y'all could have been did that. No, I'm gone. I'm gone.
And so you went and you opened up your own business.
Yes. And we worked it 24 hours. We had to do it 24 hours at first to make it grow. But that convenience store has opened up 2 other businesses for us.
Wow.
It's amazing. It's amazing when you believe and you step out on you.
Yes.
You can't always think. I always felt like my background was hindering me. To a point, it was hindering me, but my mindset was hindering me. My mindset on my background was hindering me.
And what was your mindset on your background?
That I just done messed up my life. This stuff has messed my life up. I'm going to be at this dead-end job. I'm never going to get ahead. Because I also got my pharmacy technician license certificate while I was working there. So
really?
I was gonna, but the state wouldn't give me my license.
Because of
my background. So I was feeling like I was defeated, Shantae. I was feeling like I was defeated, like a whole bunch of other people feel like they're defeated. And some people never know that it's some light outside this.
So how did you keep yourself inspired? How did you go about changing your mindset? And what type of things did you do? What type of stuff did you say to yourself so that people who are feeling this way can say that stuff to themselves and do some of the things that you did?
For a long time, Shantae, I was defeated. So I was believing in the defeat myself. But then my kids are growing up. You know, they had a good life, period. I became a homeowner while I was making that before I even got to $14 an hour. So when I became a homeowner, right, I'm like, I never even saw this. Me and my kids own a house. I'm buying a house for my children. My mind started elevating right there. Right there. I've never lived in a house. Only with my grandmama when I was a teenager. I come from the projects. So to own a house, then I'm knowing God is working.
Really?
So now just start thinking, what can you do? Yeah. What can you do with the talents that you have? What can you do that your background cannot hold you back from? That's what I start thinking. So I start researching. I was like, I do this store. I do inventory, I do pricing, I do all of this, I do research. I can do me a store. I can do that. And when I get in there, I'm gonna make the best of it. And then also, you gotta be motivated. To be your own boss, you gotta be motivated because no one holds you accountable. If you the boss, who holds you accountable? So I started motivating myself, looking for a location. I started feeling defeated about that. Couldn't find a location. When I found it, I was like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. If you are never, I need anybody who see this, you are never in a place where you can't come up from.
Yeah.
Because when you down, the only place you can go is up. That's the only place you can go. Do not let a mistake defeat you. You just can't do it. I did it for years. I felt, you give yourself self-pity because you be like, I messed up and now these people won't help me. No, you have to help yourself first. You got to start taking these steps. It's always something that you can do.
And one of the things you consistently, you keep saying, which I really like, everything you didn't know, you keep saying, I went and I researched. You didn't sit around waiting on things to happen. You were taking steps, finding out what you didn't know, what you could do, and making moves. And and let me ask you, did any part of the city or did you use any programs was any programs helping you do this? How were you figuring out the things that you didn't know?
Google is your best friend. You can find anything from Google.
It really
seriously.
is.
No, seriously.
Google,
I said it funny, but it's the truth.
Girl, I Google something in a heartbeat.
Google is your best friend. You can find out anything. So no, I saved my money. I just save. People ask me, how did I save with 3 kids making that income? But you could save. You could figure out ways to save.
You had to change not just your mindset. You had to change your whole lifestyle.
Yeah.
How did your change? Because you also have to change your environment. Well, did you change your environment?
Yeah, I started working, so I can't hang out with people. I worked, and I have 3 sons. 3 sons that play sports. So it was work to his game, then his game again, or his practice and all that. So I got to myself.
And because you changed that environment, because I know that you said it's not always the person that's bad. Sometimes they be in a bad environment.
Yeah.
And they are, responding to that environment. But you made the decision to change your environment, and that changed your mindset, that changed your entire outlook.
Yeah.
And so, wow, let me ask you this. As a businesswoman, how, if any, of your past let me change this. How has your past life helped you be successful as a businesswoman?
Because I come from a place where I come from a single family home, low income family, low income from, West Dallas Project. So growing up there, you just gonna be a survivor, period. Because it's no one that's gonna, I didn't have anyone to lead the way for me. So you're gonna figure out on your own early. You're gonna know that you have to start being for you early. Then even when I was out in the streets hustling, when you own your business, what you do, Shantae, when you work and then you come and you hustle.
Yeah,
you hustle.
You do.
You hustle. Being a serial entrepreneur, you are working all the time. It's just like you're outside when you hustling, doing stuff. You're trying to figure out what way I can make this increase. What way can I bring in more revenue over here? I'm always hustling. And I know hustling is like a street slang, so I don't know the word to use for it. But I'm just always hustling. I'm always busy, and I'm always working. And that comes from my past. It comes from me not wanting to ever be back in the past. I'm talking about my early start of life. I don't ever want to be in that place. My mom was a single mom. She really couldn't provide for us in that way. She could just love us. And we helped our mom. So I don't want to ever be back in that place. I'm going to continue to hustle. Anything that God gives me, I'm going to continue to try to make it grow. Yes. I'm going to continue to, what'd you say?
Be a steward over opportunity.
Yeah, I'm going to continue to do it. And that comes from my life, though. You don't learn that. That's something that's instilled in you.
Yeah.
You're going to have, I believe people early lifestyle, it don't matter good or bad. It creates you to be, and you could take it and let it make you bad, but also those things that you go through you can use it for good.
Yes.
You can use it for good.
Yes.
Because had I not knew about the struggle or knew how to overcome things, I probably wouldn't be as successful as I am in business. And I'm steady growing.
You're steady growing. Well, let's talk a little bit more about that, because as a businesswoman, and as you just said, had you not learned how to overcome things like that, there is a lot of stress being a serial entrepreneur, being an entrepreneur, period, running your own business. How do you manage your stress?
I have a great helpmate. My husband is great. And he take on a lot for me. I take on a lot for him. But I'm talking about our days get started at 4 a.m. with business. So it is stressful, Shantae. It's stressful, but you have to learn that when we out and about, we're taking care of business. But when we get home, we gon' relax and unwind. It's hard though because sometimes business come home. I run a convenience store in a trucking company. The trucks on the road, they're calling us. The store is a vendor here. We need to do this. Code compliant. It's a lot. I promise you it's a lot. But I love my life. I wouldn't change what God has given me, Shantae.
Yes.
I would not change it. Like, I seriously wouldn't. Because I know what it looked like the other way.
Yeah.
See, I know what it looked like. But I know that you don't have to stay in what it looked like.
Yes.
You don't have to do that.
You act like you about to get up and start doing some shouting,
I'm
girl.
for real, Shantae, because
it's real.
It's real. Come from, I'm talking about, to come from where I come from, like running these streets, fighting, getting stabbed. I mean, my life was chaotic.
Really?
Fighting at the kids' parties. My life was chaotic. Like, it was really chaotic. It was really chaotic. But God has changed me to be different. It took a whole different outlook on life. I had to really start looking at life. Really start looking at it. Because it wasn't just my background I felt like I was a product of. I felt like I was a product from growing up in a household with just a single mom that she couldn't teach us nothing. You know, I felt like a lot of stuff, like why was I given this bad hand? But I wasn't given a bad hand. My hand was probably better than some more people. It's not that. It's about what you make out of you. People have to understand that. People have to understand that. The kids coming up, they have to understand that. Whatever go on in the house, you going to one day get out that house. What you going to do then? What you going to do? Because whatever go on in the house, you have no control sometimes because you're a kid, somebody raising you, or supposed to be. But when you get out that house, what you going to do to make your life better? You can't focus on what made it bad. You got to focus on what can make it better.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, for real.
I really like that. Man. So let me ask you this. Because your store is centered right in the community. How do you, and I know, but you know, let's tell the people, how do you give back to the community, and how do you handle people who have records, and do you give them a second chance?
Everyone who works for us, well, not everyone, but most of the people that work for us have records. We don't. It's the person. See, I have a record, so I know. It's the person. I mean, people get in trouble when you're young.
Yeah.
I caught my last case when I was 19. It's following. I'm 43. Oh, and it's following me.
You look good for 43, boo.
Oh yes, I know. That's why I don't care about saying my age.
That hair is on it too.
Yeah, my beautician, she be hitting it. No, yeah, but so the records follow you. I give anybody with a record a chance because I know people change. I know people change. There's some people that don't believe a person can change, but I know people change.
Yeah.
So I give people a chance. Yeah.
Wow. And let me just ask you this real quick. Did you have, because you've been a person who's just consistently moving and changing and constantly changing your mindset. When you moved from the store to starting your own business, do you think you had to change again to become a business woman, or do you think that you were already that 8 years or even that time had already put you in that mindset?
This is what I believe. I believe God put me there, and he kept holding me there so I can get everything that I needed to go in my business. I knew what to do.
Yeah.
I knew what to do. Like, that's why I believe he held me there so I could know it all. I knew how to price. I knew all of that, Shantae. So I had to change a little bit because I had to also learn now I'm in control of making these people schedule, understanding if I should give them this time off, making sure that the business is getting ran. See, when I worked for somebody, I had to make sure my job was done, people up under me, but I didn't have to make sure that the business was really actually making money because I'm going to get my check regardless. But when you own your own business, you have to pay people a check. You have to make sure that it's making money. It have to make sense. So in a convenience store, you have to keep evolving, keep finding new stuff, keep your customers coming in.
Okay. So let me ask you this as we begin to wrap up. What are you most proud of as a serial entrepreneur?
I'm proud of the.
What are you most proud of? I know you're proud of a lot of things, but the thing that you're most proud of.
I don't know, Shantae. It's different, I'm proud that I can give people opportunities to work. I'm proud of that. That people can I provide people with a way to make a livelihood. But I'm also proud of the freedom that it gives me.
Okay.
That I don't have to worry no more if these people can fire me. That isn't I can't even think what I was going to say. I'm just happy that my life is in my hands now.
Yeah, as opposed to
My success it requires on what I will do.
Yeah.
Not where they will let me go.
Yeah.
My success requires on where I will take these business ventures that I have. That's what I'm most proud of.
Well, as we close out, let's talk about that. Tell us, what does the future look like for Tameka Wheeler Gates?
Oh, it looks like I invest in properties, but it looks like a whole bunch of real estate development and all that coming. That's what it looks like.
You're going to you just start developing all over the place because you have opened up. Let's just run through it. Let's run through your current businesses right now because I'm just so proud of you. You're just so awesome.
Thank you, Shantae.
I mean, just way too awesome.
Thank you.
We have so tell me.
We have the convenience store that's first.
Okay.
We have the convenience store, which is Family Team Company.
Okay.
Then we have the trucking business, and that's Clutch Carrier, and we have 5 trucks now.
Wow.
We have 5 trucks and 5 trucks on the road.
Wow.
So we have 16 employees in that trucking business.
And just growing. I know you just celebrated 10 years with the convenience store.
The trucking business is about 5 years, 6 years, and the investing is 3. We have Airbnbs, we have rental properties, and we flip properties.
And that's all done through Gatesway Investments.
That's all done in Gatesway.
We're going to be bringing you back so that you can talk to us about the investment business and how to start flipping properties and all the goodness about that. Tameka, you are a dream come true. Like you are the perfect vision of somebody who is, you deal with the cards that you have, but you see a chance, and you're not afraid to take it. Have you always been this bold and courageous?
I think so. I think at a point I covered it, but I've always been like that. I grew up having to help my mom do stuff. So yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for joining us on today. I just appreciate you so much. And if you guys want to connect with Tameka, this is how you can do so. Look, and Tameka said it perfectly. You are responsible for what you do with your life. God gives us an opportunity. Ask yourself, are you being a good steward of the opportunity that you have been given? Are you thinking bigger than right now? Or are you just focusing on right now? Because life is so big and there is so much that you can do. It doesn't matter where you came from. It doesn't matter what you have done. When opportunity is placed in front of you, are you being a good steward of the opportunity that you've been given? Until next week, I want to let you guys know that I love you. Thank you for joining us.
I feel a wave coming